What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. It's Lex, and today we're going to be talking about Creed 3. So, we're back with Michael B. Jordan, and this time around, we see Creed fully retired, already kind of putting the gloves up and building his own empire, building his own gym. When a childhood friend comes back into Creed's life, who has been in prison for the last couple years, wanting a chance for the heavyweight title. I would say this movie definitely separates itself from the first and the second one. Not to say that that was a bad thing, but I could say it was definitely a different experience from the previous ones. We get to see Creed after all the boxing accolades, after all the wins, after everything, putting his gloves up and finally saying, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna stop going. Damage has been inflicted on me. I'm kind of done with this. And you get to see him trying to invest himself into a new boxer, into a new heavyweight contender that he has created with the previous cast before. I was a little surprised by them taking this route, especially since, they're skipping a lot of what had happened and they're kind of going to already retirement. I felt like they could have maybe had taken the third movie and shown exactly what was going on there, or even in this movie shown exactly what was going on and what happened during that retirement. But I understand there's only so much time that we have to tell a story here, but I would have liked to seen that. It was a little bit weird that they skipped kind of all this time. They did go back on sometimes and they have flashback moments and flashback scenes, but I feel like it wasn't enough to really kind of tell of what has happened to Creed over time. During this movie, it reveals that he had a long lost friend who has went to jail because he was trying to protect him. I thought that was kind of not mentioned, and now it's kind of like being thrown into our eyes and saying, "Hey, this is what happened. This is some part of the story now that we're adding here," which is what was kind of like, okay, we're kind of playing this for the movie. I see, trying to make the character a little more broader here and have like a little bit more of like a depth to him where he's not just this guy who has a chip on his shoulder anymore about being Apollo Creed's son. Now he's his own individual. He had his own past life that is now coming back and creeping up on him. I thought that direction was pretty good. We're trying to add more depth into Creed and see where he goes along in the future. And this could be potentially telling a story later down the road, maybe for Creed 4. Or maybe they'll go in a different route this time around. Once again, we see Jonathan Majors back on the big screen since we last saw him in Ant-Man. Now we're seeing him here as the villain or as the opponent here. So it was pretty awesome to see him back, especially since on the run he's been on. I've been really excited to see him as an actor and love watching his ascension to greatness here. Once again, he delivers an amazing performance. I think that in this movie, it really shows like what type of character, very precise, very like in control of the acting he is, what he wants to deliver as far as emotionally and the tones that he wants to set throughout the movie. He just kind of is this hungry person who has been gone for such a long time and he just wants to make up for the time that has been lost for him. I think that this made for an interesting character. Any character with chips on their shoulder or something to prove is always going to have this dynamic of like, I need to come out of this. I'm the underdog. I'm going to fight for everything that I have. I'm going to do whatever it takes. And you really get to see that throughout the movie, what he does and the kind of shady things that he gets into in order to get to the position that he needs to get into. And it's really showing what type of character he is. He does not care what type of evil he needs to do in order to get there. Whereas Creed fought for everything. He did it the right way. He trained. He did everything he could. And he didn't do any of those steps to really be like that. So it created this rivalry and this contrast between these two individuals, one who works hard and one who also works hard but doesn't mind getting their hands dirty in a way. Don't get me wrong, there was definitely some scenes that were amazing. There was a scene between Creed and Dame where Creed finds out something that had happened that Dame did, and he kind of approaches him and kind of confronts him about the situation. I think this was the perfect moment to show, hey, this is who I am, this is who you are, this is what I'm willing to do, and this is what's gonna happen here, and this is what I'm gonna do to you. It was a battle between them mentally. That was so amazing. I thought that was wonderful. Even more of like just the action and the fights, having that type of dialogue, having that type of conversation really made for a great performance on both ends. I think Michael B. Jordan did a great job, as a matter of fact. He's really falling into this character, really setting himself in this place. You can really tell that Michael B. Jordan understands the character very much because you really get to see so much confidence in him. Even throughout like the low points of the movie, he's still in that character. He really showing through the emotion, through the feelings, everything. It was pretty awesome to see two amazing actors going head to head. There's an unfortunate death here that kind of happens that is like a little bit weird and awkward. It kind of happened and then we move forward. It was a little interesting to see why they were going to do that or why they killed off this character and in such a way like that. But who knows? I don't know what type of direction they're going to be going later down the future, but that was just a little bit weird. There was some sequences that kind of didn't have an ending to it or was maybe a beginning to something that we didn't get to see throughout the movie. Now let's talk about the fight sequences. The fight sequences were amazing. I see a lot of people comparing the fight sequences to anime shows or any of the anime fighting moments, and I could really see that. You know, you could really see like an Obito versus Kakashi fight scene towards the end of the movie there. You know, the whole lights shut down and it's just Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors just going against each other and just brawling out, slow motion, you know, immersive camera work as well in there. And they also had like little animations going behind them, kind of having mental warfare as well, which brought to an amazing fights. Pretty crazy fight sequences that happened there as well. It was pretty amazing as far as in the action times, as much as they did come out, because it wasn't fully all the time just that. You know, this movie did, I feel like, had less, I could be wrong, but I had less fight sequences here. So, but when they did, they really showed off and they really showed what they were doing here and showed off the rivalry that happened between them throughout the movie. I really enjoyed seeing them mentioning Rocky. I know there's a whole debacle going on between Rocky and I'm not sure exactly, maybe somebody who owns the Rocky franchise going on. So I like that they didn't fully kind of, you know, ignore him, or you didn't fully just say, you know what, we're not mentioning him at all. He did not show up in here, which is really unfortunate to see, but they did mention him. They did have a little bit of a talk, and you know, you get to really see Creed, you know, having this like moments of Rocky-isms and stuff like that. So that was good. I really liked that they did that, not to completely shut him out of the movie. With all that being said, I think they could have done a little bit of better job kind of explaining the friendship between Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors. They could have maybe added a little bit more scenes, because I didn't really fully believe that they were kind of these best friends the entire of this movie. It just felt like they were kind of close, but weren't that close. So I think they could have done a little bit of better job on that end. You know, it would have been better than that way. They would have added more depth in the fact. Could have brought a little more meaning to the fights here. But overall, I gotta say that this movie was pretty enjoyable. It was great to watch. I would recommend anybody to go watch it, especially if you're any of those Rocky fans or Creed fans alike. It's a really good one. My theater was actually kind of full, and it's been a couple days since the release came out. So this movie is doing great, I think, in my eyes. And I'm really excited to see what they're going to be doing on later down the future. I know that they didn't really leave kind of things open or anything like that, you know, especially if you get to watch the movie. There is kind of like things that they cut short, so maybe they get to explore them, maybe they get to go back. I don't know what they're going to do later down the future, but without all that being said, I'm going to be giving Creed 3 a 7 out of 10. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure you hit the like button, smash that sub button, leave a comment down below if you watch Creed or are you a fan of the Rocky movies. Let me know. And with the review being done, I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.